Hi everyone, I'm here with my March and April reads of published works. I now read and write mostly Hermione, obviously, but I still try to get in a few other reads, and I have a few that I really enjoyed, so here they are. And I'm going from what I liked least to what I liked most, but I didn't dislike anything that I read because I don't have time to read things. Who has time to read things and finish things that they don't like? All right, so first is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. I'm an Alice Feeney girl, for the most part. I mean, some of her works I've liked more than others. I give this one 4 stars. You might think that's not 5 stars, and you'd be right. But for what this is, which is like a straight thriller, 4 stars is good because I feel like the average is the 3-star thriller, so 4 is good. This book is atmospheric and creepy and sinister and has an overall triumphant, like rah rah woman kind of vibe. So the plot is that an author named Grady Green has just had his book land on the New York Times bestseller list. He's hoping to share this news with his beloved wife, but she's running late. She calls him to apologize, but while they're talking, she says she needs to get out and help someone on the side of the road. He hears her get out, and then there's nothing. He goes to find her. He finds her car by the edge of a cliff with her headlights on. Her phone is there, but she is not. And then just like a year passes, he's overcome with grief. He doesn't know what has gone on with her. He's still trying to figure it out. He's struggling to do anything, much less write. So his agent offers him a cabin on a tiny Scottish island where he can go, like, get off the grid, find some peace, and write, hopefully. But things on the island are strange. And he's actually seeing a woman who looks like his missing wife, or is he? So the twists in this were really fun. I don't think I was super shocked by the main reveal, but I was really satisfied with it, so I call that a win. So second, I read Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. I gave this 4.25 stars. I thought the character work was really stellar, and engaging in each of the women in this book was like a really lovely experience. A lot of them felt close to home in many ways, so that was nice. It felt a little overindulgent in places, and I feel like it dragged here and there. Also, the women were like so super rich and privileged that even though they were certainly having their struggles, it was a bit hard to relate, like when they could escape their problems by like flying off to Europe at the drop of a hat. I was like, well, good for you. So the main plot is that there's 4 sisters: Avery, Bonnie, Nikki, and Lucky. They grew up in an apartment in Manhattan with a drunk father and an enabling mother. Their lives were good enough that Avery became a successful lawyer. Bonnie became a world champion boxer. Nikki became a beloved teacher, and Lucky is a global supermodel. So, like, they did okay. Nikki, however, spent most of her life with a painful illness and then passes away, still pretty young. So the book begins in the aftermath of this with the remaining disconnected sisters grappling with this as well as their own difficult lives. Avery is a recovering addict and she's dealing with her marriage being on the rocks. Lucky is now falling deeper into addiction, and Bonnie is sort of like lost and purposeless. And it takes them finally reconnecting and getting out their ugly stuff before they can find resolution. It was like a more effed up, modern, addiction filled Little Women. If you like character driven lit fic over exciting page turners, you'd probably like this. So, third, I just finished Emily Henry's new book, Great Big Beautiful Life. I gave it a 4.5. I don't know what it is about Emily Henry. For me, she somehow gets away with tropes I don't like: third act breakups, repressed memories, underdeveloped side characters, miscommunications. She just does things in a way that works. And I think it's because her main characters, flawed as they may be, communicate in a healthy way with each other. She does not have me banging my head against a wall in frustration. So the plot of this is that Alice is a journalist who is trying to get a big break by chasing down a reclusive member of a once illustrious family to write a best-selling memoir. When she finds the woman, whose name is Margaret Ives, she is horrified to learn that there is a way more successful and well-known writer already there, Pulitzer Prize-winning Hayden Anderson. Margaret gets to know them and decides to give them each a month period to try and pitch her something, and then she'll decide on one of them. So it's rival journalists. And now they're like enforced proximity. We love these tropes. But Alice is an unabashed people pleaser and persists in like badgering Hayden into a stilted friendship while they are in town together. And obviously their friendship grows in quite a beautiful way and blooms and blossoms into much more. It's lovely. In the meantime, though, Alice is getting to know Margaret Ives and hearing her life story, which is very much giving Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo meets The Last Great American Dynasty by Taylor Swift. If that song did not inspire Emily Henry, I'd be surprised. I thought this was a fun side plot because it allowed for some mystery and intrigue. And while I didn't think it neared like thriller level mystery, I've heard some people say that it was like there was like a thriller mystery. No, there is not. But there was a reveal I did not see coming, and that was cool. I think what I've learned about myself is that despite being willing to read about Draco and Hermione falling in love 37,000 different times and ways, I'm not otherwise much of a contemporary romance fan. Emily Henry, though, is an immediate read for me. Her books are all good, consistently good. Finally, I just finished Happy Go Lucky by David Sedaris, and I gave this 5 stars. Honestly, how can you not? The way he turns his impressively granular memories and the details of his life into hilarious and poignant stories, and then is able to kind of tie each one up into a bow with like a profound point. It inevitably has me tearing up after each one. They're just perfection. When I think of authors I wish I could be, he's the one for me. From the first story about visiting a shooting range with his sister Gretchen, to multiple instances of his family gathering at the end of their father's life, to stories about, the pandemic and how that affected both him and his boyfriend and their family, to this one lovely moment of him trying on expensive clothes with Amy in a dressing room at Barney's, to the complicated but very real relationship he has with Hugh. Every chapter is a gem. When you finish one of his books, you feel a loss because for a time you've been part of his family, and it makes you look at your own family a little differently. Highly, highly recommend. Okay, and that's all. Do you have any other book recs for me? Let me know, and I'll see you next time. Bye.